All right, hello everybody. This is Torrance Strong checking in. If you notice, we sitting in the church. Have Brother Lawrence Thomas with me,
Yes.
and we're here in Galveston, Texas, sitting in the sanctuary of the historic Ave L Missionary Baptist Church, which is the oldest black church in the state of Texas. And just by happenstance, I happen to be in Galveston taking care of a little bit bicycle business, and I ran into Brother Thomas today. We was talking about Juneteenth. This is the eve of Juneteenth. This is June 18th,
Yes.
2019, and we were just sharing a little history. He's a product of Grambling. He's familiar with my hometown, my high school. I'm a graduate of Southern University, and we just started talking, and I just wanted to share Brother Lawrence's story with the world, and he agreed to sit down with me and give us a moment of his time. And this is going to be real informal. So it's just whatever comes to his mind. I just want us to record it and be blessed by it. You know, he's a historian, and he has some interesting facts about Juneteenth. So here we are.
Yeah.
Forgive us if we don't look at the camera. We just dialoguing and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Thomas. Tell us about yourself.
Well, first thing, my name is Lawrence Thomas, and I'm from Galveston, Texas. The next most important thing is I went to Grambling, even though he went to Southern. But I always got to say, I was in the great Grambling University in the early 70s, 1971 to 1975. And I'm really, it's just a coincidence how this all happened today, but this is unbelievable and important. So Juneteenth is a very special time for me. At first, Juneteenth was just how we just celebrated and just walk around, do a barbecue, you know, do a little parade and those wonderful things. But when you finally start really looking at the history, where was your family? Back in 1865 and what was your family doing? And for me, it was unbelievable. Of course, Juneteenth started right here in Galveston, so the story for me goes that my great-great-grandfather was a slave to the founder of Galveston. And the way the history tells us that on Juneteenth, when General Gordon Granger read the proclamation that my grandfather dropped our slave name, his name was John Thomas Flugel Menard. And on Juneteenth, he dropped both of the slave names, which was Flugel and Menard, and his name became John Thomas, and that's how the Thomas got to Galveston, which was just exciting to know that every time when I do Juneteenth, I'm thinking of my great-great-grandfather, and I remember the Civil War. You know, we be reading stuff about the Civil War and stuff that, you know, we never think about, well, what were we doing?
Yes.
Where were we? What we was all about and those type of things. So anyway, but it's just been intriguing for me to know that my great-great-grandfather was down there, and that's how my name became Thomas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate that. And I also want to ask, just for the people watching this,
Yes.
how was it for you or your family, if you can think back, say just growing up, and because Juneteenth really, started here, but it's more of a regional thing.
Yes,
It
is.
hadn't caught on at the time
Yes.
around the country, and hear other people say, especially me, I'll be honest,
Yes.
it's like, well, we already knew we were free, so we don't need to
Yes.
celebrate that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
were you faced with that, especially going off to Grambling, and people find out you're from Galveston and you talking about Juneteenth, which you were raised on as part of your family history, and other people wondering what was that?
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate that a lot of times we suppress things. You know, sometimes, not that we were embarrassed or anything, it's just that it was just something that everybody didn't talk about. So Juneteenth was so regular for us that it was just a day we thought, hey, this is what they celebrate in Galveston.
Yes.
We didn't look at it from a deeper standpoint that we were looking at from everybody, because really all slaves were free that day. You know, we didn't look at it that way. We just thought it was just for Galveston. And so it was, Galveston was a very proud place. And remember, at this time, a little later, Galveston became the Walmart of the South.
Yes.
It was booming. Blacks was being successful. I had a relative that married to Willis Fair. Willis Fair, really, what people don't know here in Galveston, we have a mansion called Moody Mansion. but it was owned by Willis Fair. Well, the driver, the horse carriage driver for Willis Fair was my sister, my great-grandfather's sister-in-law.
Okay.
And he sold the house to Moody.
Okay.
And when he sold the house to Moody, they moved to Willis, Texas. So he horse carried his owner, which was Willis Fair, and they took him on to Willis, Texas.
Okay. Okay.
And so, but yes, it's unfortunate that for all of us, you know, I even look at the civil rights movement when we look at some of the things back with Selma, how television was the only thing that gave us at least an identity, what we saw when they were sicking the dogs on them,
Yes.
and those type of things. Otherwise, we didn't know.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, sir. And once again, I tell you, thank you. Like I say, we actually connected today. He saw my Louisiana on my shirt and my blue and gold. So we joked about Grambling, joked about Southern.
Yes.
And just a little side note, that's what a HBCU means to me. That's
Yes.
what going to a community school means to me, is being able to run into people that you have never met, and we can sit up and hold a conversation. Like I
Yes.
told him, he reminds me of my uncle, his mannerism, his presence, the way he carries himself, and come to find out that Mr. Thomas also was at Grambling with my old high school football coach, Coach Lee Fobbs.
Yes.
And his son, who I did play football with, is now the head coach of Grambling football, and
Yes.
that's Mr. Broderick Fobbs.
Yes.
And these are names that came up just by us talking with each other and never having met each other before today. There's
Yes.
another individual, Mr. Wilbur Williams. His daughter, DeAndrea Williams, is my high school classmate, also played trumpet at Grambling with Brother Thomas.
Yes.
So, like I say,
Yes.
what happened today is we were talking, we met, and I just thought his story was important. It's worth sharing. And I am in Galveston for Juneteenth, and
Yes.
I want to be a part of where it all started, because and I admit to anyone, I was definitely not on board with celebrating Juneteenth. My approach was, I'm from Louisiana, we knew about it, it wasn't worth dealing with.
Yes.
But as I've matured, as I've grown, you know, as a person and talk with more people, I've come to understand the significance of it and what it means to everybody, and helping to get our truth out and our
Yes.
story told.
Yes.
And like I said, and it is U.S. history.
It
It is definitely U.S. history.
Yes, it is.
That should not be forgotten. How you doing, sister? You want to come over here? Okay, all right. Like I say, we at the church congregation. They're about to have a rehearsal going, so this is very impromptu. A young lady just walked in, invited her to be on, but that's all right. Like I said, we are at Avenue L Missionary Baptist Church. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and like I say, you know, it's scary sometimes, because what he didn't know was that I'm an educator. So when I left Grambling, I came back and I became a teacher, and I was a principal for 16 years.
Just found it out.
Yeah, so I was a principal for 16 years, and again, it's just the significance of what our story is to young blacks coming up today. You know, they don't hear our stories. They think everything is given to them, and they don't realize the struggle of what they're going through. When they see a lot of the young brothers get shot and those type of things. Back in the day, they used to just arrest us for no reason whatsoever. It was just, hey, they just take us to jail, because it was a money-making thing too.
Yes, sir.
Even when you look even earlier than that. But it's just being in the educational business, we're concerned about how we used to take ownership with our kids' lives. The black schools they were our heartbeats. I was so happy that I went to Grambling. I was going to Southern. My mom went to Southern. So and the big thing I love about it now is I could care less. I love Southern, Texas Southern, Prairie View, Alabama. It's so happy to see that the universities are still thriving and they're doing well, because it means our children can get some identity instead of they getting squashed. Because if you look in your community, just like here in Galveston, they're doing their best to squash every aspect of history that we possibly can reap up to tell anybody about. And that's the part that scares me the most. They're tearing our neighborhoods up. They're making our neighborhoods to the point to whereas there is no identity for us in it. They want us to blend.
Yes.
And when they make us blend, they want us to look like them, quack like them, and talk like them. And that
Fade
makes
away. And it erases your history.
Yes, and that's what I kind of vowed to do. I was telling Brother Strong that I played trumpet in my church, and we're not doing no heavy music or anything, but I have a group of kids that I'm teaching to play the trumpet for free. And that's what the old black school used to do for our communities. It made us valuable. You didn't have a choice. You had to participate in the black schools, in the school closing play, the get your speech and,
Yes.
and sing and sing and do music, because we see our kids doing rap and stuff, but our heritage is rich with music, and it's just so important. So I started a bunch of little kids to play trumpet, and it's just so exciting that, boy, they take to it and they just love it. And it has nothing to do with whether it's a basketball or whether they just want to do sports.
Yes,
We're
yes.
so talented. And thank God for Tiger Woods,
Yes,
Serena
sir,
Williams,
yes.
because it's proven that we can. They're scared, and they
anything.
are scared of us because we are an incredible people. We are
Yes.
kings and queens.
Yes, yes. And to touch on the Grambling Southern thing, like I said, I'm born and raised in Monroe, and my father's from Winsboro.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, I was raised that we only compete in athletics.
Yes.
That's it. We
Yes.
only compete in athletics.
Yes, yes.
And I wanted you just to give you a moment to share about Sister Ruth Hall, your dad's sister, and her contribution to the church as far as music goes.
So here in Avenue L, well, we arrived here probably before it was a structure, and when it was just the 6 slaves. It was 6 slaves that founded this church. And so we believe that when my great-great-grandfather married into that also. But we were here. We were working toward our 180th year, and we were here in 12 years before, but it was before structure. So the musicians of this church, my aunt played from 1934 to 2005. She was a musician that long. I think it was over 70-some years consistently that
Yes.
she was here. And let me tell you, they were faithful. I'm telling you, this one it was wooden floors. They had the drum beat was they stomping the feet and that stuff.
sir.
But faithful to me means that if the church door didn't open, she was already here playing the organ. She was playing the pipe organs when the pipe organs were big and strong. Now the interesting part that we don't have documented on the wall is that her aunt was the musician before her. So she was a little girl when her aunt taught her. So we believe that even maybe to almost 1920, that her aunt was the musician at that time up to 1934, which is, that's crazy. So I started, doing 80s and 90s and that stuff, but I'm just consistently, I'm the last of the Thomas that's still playing music in this department. So we believe it's over 90 consecutive years that my family's been here. But it's just an amazing, when you know a little bit of your history.
Yes, sir.
It makes you want to do better.
Yes,
It
sir.
makes you want to be proud, make them proud, to not to let their name go down, not to ruin their name, and just to hold on. Now my wife is from Shreveport, Louisiana. She been ready to go. She said, "Let's go," and I've been steadfast, and I'm very proud to still be here, And my great-grandfather wound up being one of the first black police officers here in Galveston, and that was in the early 1900s. And he was a police officer here, and I thought that was interesting, but I know he didn't arrest no white people, but I bet he probably arrested Jack Johnson, though.
Yes, sir.
So it was always interesting.
Yes, sir. And a lot of people may not know that Jack Johnson is from Galveston.
He is from Galveston, and matter of fact, they created the law, the Jim Crow law, almost for Jack Johnson for taking a white woman over the border to Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
that's when they imprisoned him for that.
Yes, sir.
They imprisoned him. But Jack Johnson was a bad brother.
Yes, sir.
And my family used to talk about him and say he used to throw gloves. He used to all work on the wharf. They say he'd throw gloves to you, some little, ain't no real boxing gloves, little hand, like little gloves, put them on and say he wants somebody to box him,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And which, if you ever want to see an unbelievable story, you really need to read the story of Jack Johnson from Galveston. He wound up being in Chicago, but the first black African-American to win the Great White Hope, to fight the Great White, when he beat Mr. Jim Jeffries.
Yes,
but
sir.
another amazing thing about him was he was an inventor. He loved racing cars. So when he got to Chicago and stuff, he created the Crescent wrench. And you can look that up. Jack Johnson created, he wanted a tool that can work on the cars. One tool,
Yes.
you know, crescent wrench, one for all.
Yes, sir.
And it's written that he invented the crescent wrench.
So that's another golden nugget of African American history.
Yes.
And there's also one block over, Jack Johnson Park.
Yes, we have the Jack Johnson Museum. They got a statue named after Jack Johnson. I think his homestead, I think they put maybe a little marker, and we were concerned about his homestead when he was here. You know, his mother wound up taking, as his father was a janitor at Central High School, which was the oldest black high school in the state of Texas. I was telling Brother Strong that it was said that people came as far as from Lake Charles, Louisiana, because the school was organized in 1885.
Yes.
And at that time, people came as far as from Lake Charles to go to school, to get their education.
Yes. But and I also want to point out, even in my hometown of Monroe, black officers were not allowed to arrest white citizens. So that's not something that was just confined to Galveston.
No.
That was definitely the South, Jim Crow, whatever name you want to give it.
Whatever name you want to give it.
Yeah. Racism, prejudice,
Yeah.
Jim Crow, it definitely were the times, and this is kind of dialogue that needs to be out,
Yes.
and young ears and older ears need to hear,
Yes.
including myself.
Yes,
So we
yes.
definitely don't forget.
Yeah,
We don't forget.
And I pray for these young people because they don't understand, because they're not doing the Jim Crow law, but they arrest us for anything. It's still some of the same stuff that's going on back then. It's just a different name for it, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
And I'm not trying to make our kids to be weak or anything, but we gotta empower them to be more smarter.
Yes.
You know, and that's always a big thing for me right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm trying to empower, so I can play the trumpet a little bit.
And I can play less than that.
Yeah,
See,
little
so
bit.
the coincidence again with today was he had a phone call. He had it on speakerphone, so I couldn't help but hear the guy tell him his trumpet was ready. My ears stood up. I said, "Trumpet? Wait a minute, man. At least I could do is hold a mouthpiece." But and it's a rare occasion why I did not bring my horn with me. Everybody knows I don't want to travel with my trumpet. But so we just wanted to reach out to the world.
Yes.
And I said, I met this good brother today, man, and he just touched my heart. He touched my spirit, and I'm just bubbling with joy. You know, so and I stopped. I said, look, don't tell me anymore. Would you mind if I do a video for you and broadcast it to the world? He said he didn't mind. So, world, you're looking at a gentleman that can trace his lineage. He can give you the names of his grandfather, which is predates Juneteenth, but up until Juneteenth, 1864.
Yes.
And so, this is history. It's not long ago. It's not something that should be forgotten. Don't let anybody tell you we don't need to talk about that anymore. This is one person here that can tell you about his family history. So imagine the other people, and you actually say, what were they doing during those time frames as well?
Yes.
Yeah, because my family, no different than most, came up off the plantation in Louisiana. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's amazing, but ever since when I knew my history, it changed the whole definition of Juneteenth.
Yes.
It's almost sacred to me now.
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, I even they were doing they called it the Underground Railroad, but they were taking kids to go through the Menard House, where they had my great-great-grandfather's picture up there, and I share with them that this is my great-great-grandfather's, because a lot of times we never connect our personal self back to slavery.
Right.
We don't trace it back there, but, you know, because it's always been like a hidden agenda, you know. But now I'm so proud of it. When people come, I want them to know that we came out of slavery, and yes, and we are successful.
Yes,
but
sir.
we have a long way to go. We still gotta keep teaching our children. A lot of times we have been bamboozled to go take jobs. We take jobs over taking a personal interest in our kids and making them be successful.
Yes, sir.
You know, and when I say that, I'm talking about even our smart kids, because a lot of times both of my daughters graduated from universities, one from white university and one from a historical black. I was trying to go black because there's nothing like a good black university.
And what school your daughter went to?
She went to Prairie View.
Okay.
She
Good stuff.
Yeah, she went to Prairie View.
Waller County, yes, sir.
Yes, and my other daughter went to Sam Houston.
Okay.
So, but I'm saying this to say this, you know, we as black educators, and the kids got to understand exactly where they come from. I'm talking about our smart kids that go to University of Texas, they go to LSU, they go to these schools. What happens to them is they get bamboozled too. They get them blocking out the thing where, you're better than them. You're rising above them. They use terms like that. When they say put your hand on that car, you put your hands on that car, I don't care what university you went to. And our kids got to still understand is the beauty of us being black. We can play the house or the field.
Yes, sir.
I didn't say the word, but the house or the
Yes,
field.
sir.
When you know both, that means you can communicate with presidents of the United States. You can take with the brothers that's drinking on the corner, playing dominoes.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
that's the beauty of our heritage, that we can do it all. Most European American teachers can't do that to our kids. We got to be able to teach our own kids. I'm not trying to separate. I'm not trying to go back, but I make it my mission that even though I'm retired, I'm back as a behavior specialist at elementary school. I'm strictly old school. And guess what? Kids want us to discipline them. Yes. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you. Like I said, this is just open dialogue, and we just letting things fly and present your story, your truth to the world. And like I said from the beginning, I just, man, when you started talking, my spirit got full, my eyes got big. I said, hold up, and I just wanted to share with other people what I was experiencing, especially, and this is a sacred place for me, even passing by Ashton Villa, because I've been passing by my entire life and coming to Galveston since I was a kid and not knowing that I was passing right by that spot where they read the Emancipation Proclamation. So even me coming to Galveston has rejuvenated me, it's put me in a different place emotionally to where I have to check myself. Am I giving enough? Am I doing, am I doing right by my ancestors' legacy? And that's just a promise that I'm doing for myself and putting back on me to do better.
And that is exactly, you can't say it no better than that, Strong. And the reason I say that is because that's why I teach kids now. I even do it at the school. I have maybe 50 that I teach for free before school even starts.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable that our kids are dying for us to lead them. But it's hard for other cultures to sometimes to lead our kids.
Yes, sir.
But when they see us, we know, say, boy, I'm gonna tell you, better sit down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I ain't playing. You better sit
Yes,
down.
sir. Yes, sir.
And our kids know, they know our signals. They know, we know things of how to communicate with them and reach them. I didn't tell them I was also a coach here. So I coached here in Galveston. We at one time we had the most in one little city, most athletes playing professional football.
Oh wow! Okay.
And guess what? It's on the record. You can look at it.
Yeah.
Our coach here is right now is Kimball Landers. He was Kansas City Chief fullback, and I had to make him play football. You know how we are. We want to play just basketball because it's inside.
Yeah.
They wouldn't play baseball, so I made two of them play baseball. And we got one right now in pro right now in baseball named Nicholas Williams. He plays for the Nationals and Phillies. He plays for the Phillies. And I take pride in that because a lot of times we are mentors and we are motivators. We can say stuff and get them going.
Yes.
And I had about 5, 6 of these guys off of one team go straight to pro.
Yes, sir.
One of them went to LSU too.
Yes, sir.
He's a bad boy. But I just say that because I'm very proud of our history. I'm talking about across the United States. We just gotta keep researching, keep seeking information on your own family.
Yes.
Just try to find out, because the more you find out, the more you'll be more prouder to hold that name together and try to do what's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I just
All
had
right.
to share that.
No, I appreciate
And don't
it.
forget, Grambling, I played baseball and in the band.
And was in the
Grambling.
band at Grambling.
Boy, that was President Ralph Waldo Emerson Jones was my coach.
Yeah, coach and the president.
And the president of the university.
Good
That was an amazing time for me because
Yeah.
I had to share that because that's, he tell you, I start crying because I didn't think it was that big of a deal at first.
Yeah.
That I found out it was a big deal.
Right. And you also had a chance to be there under the legendary coach Eddie Robinson.
Eddie Robinson was right there. Matter of fact, Doug Williams came out to play baseball with us. We was out there, and boy, Eddie Robinson came from out that tunnel. Eddie Robinson came up, Eddie Robinson said, no press, he's not going to play. Doug, get back over here. And by the way, Doug could have easily started in the majors. Doug Williams was dangerous with baseball.
Wow.
And that's a fact.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, brother, thank you again. And we signing off. Like I say, he's a product of Grambling, and I graduated from Southern, and it's the Bayou Classic right here
Yes, it
at
is.
Ave L Missionary Baptist Church, Galveston, Texas.
And it's a classic.
This is a
We're
classic.
Together.
That's it.
We go together.
All right, well, thank y'all. See you next time.
Thank you.